Opinion about having online class even face-to-face is going on.
The safety of our students in our NBSP Institute is very important, where there won't be a face-to-face class needed if there is no practical lesson. Besides, if there is any teamwork required, all the group work can be done through online platform. Hybrid classes definitely bring out students from their comfort zone, where they won't be depending on others to solve their problem. They will be on their own. Students can also brush up their technology skills through this.
Pros and cons for students going back on campus.
The advantage and disadvantage of hybrid classes is lecturer won't be able to focus on each and every student in the class, but there's many advantages of hybrid classes, where students have more free time to manage their timetable and can contact lecturer easily. Students also find it easy to adapt on online classes. Students also tend to score higher grades through online classes. Even the marking system is very strict.
How strong IPT follows the COVID guideline?
Experience, I would say some was strong, some wasn't, because this solely depends on the manager. Before this, each department had their own SOP to be followed. Some really did follow it, but unfortunately some didn't. So I will definitely say this is the important responsibility of the manager on handling these issues.
Opinion about anti-vacciner.
About anti-vaccine, each person have their own right for their choices. We can't force anyone into something. But when it comes to students, if I was the head council, I will very much forbid students who didn't receive vaccine not to come back to campus, because it will jeopardize other students' safety and health. I have fully received my vaccination, but I don't have the rights to force someone else. But if I am a head council, I will definitely try to talk the students to receive vaccination if they want to come back to campus.
Opinion about staffs and warden going in and out.
And warden coming in and out, I don't really have any subjection in this if they have received their vaccination completely. This would hardly affect the students if proper SOP were followed. As we know, we are moving from pandemic to endemic. If everyone is cautious of the surroundings, it won't be a problem.
How will student cope with the situation?
In a room of hundreds of students, there will definitely be rebels in it that what bring a picture that everything we are doing is wrong. We can solve it in a proper way.
Hi, I am Aisha Vatsini from Room 24. I will explain about the define process. So, this is what we got from the interview session with one of our Polytechnics lecturer, Mr. Zaki, yesterday. I will explain it one by one, but before that, let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Zaki. He is a lecturer in Polytechnic Ungku Omar and has almost 20 years of working experience. He also used to be a principal lecturer. Let's move on to the problems he mentioned during the interview. In the interview, we found out that he mentioned a lot about the safety of campus. He said he prefers online learning for the time being because he thinks we need to look at the best option at the moment, but he still agreed that face-to-face class is better. He prefers face-to-face class because most students fail to catch up on online classes because of bad internet connection. Also, in online classes, it is hard to spot each and every student in one time, so this will cause the number of plagiarism to increase. But he also thinks online learning has its advantages. One of them is more IT-based students can be shaped because they are trying to adapt to the hybrid system. Other than that, he also has a strong opinion that students will be out of comfort zone during online classes. He also said that when he assigned a project that requires a teamwork through hybrid learning, he actually wants to promote students to take their own initiative in building connections instead of depending on the lecturer. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Zaki thinks face-to-face classes are better, but there are also some issues we need to pay attention for. For example, the students who refuse to take their vaccine, or those who refuse to follow the SOP. In the vaccination case, he thinks we need to have to be strict and do not let them come back to the campus if they refuse to take their vaccine. For the rebellious student case, we need to take a firm action against them to make sure they follow the SOP guidelines strictly. After listening to all the problems he stated in the interview, we decided to help Mr. Zaki or more specifically the users or students by providing a detailed prototype which could help the student by just scanning their metric cards, and it will be registered in the database where are the students' whereabouts.
A very good afternoon to the fellow judges. My name is Kailash Pal Singh. I'm from room number 24, and today I'll be talking about the process of our ideation. Okay, let's get into it. By the first workout session that we have done for ideation, okay, there are many process that have been given by me and my teammates, okay, which represent about prototype, the SOP and guidelines, and also the application. By this, okay, we have known that from our problem statement and also how to solve the problem which is created by Mr. Zaki, we have gotten all and a lot of ideas from it. The previous worksheet one, okay, that was our general idea where we came up with all the ideas that Mr. Zaki want, which will provide him with safety of the students. Okay, from worksheet one, we have already voted our best choices of product or prototype or SOP that we're going to use, and we have brought it to the worksheet 2 to be voted again and to finalize our final product that we are going to use as our main prototype or SOP. Okay, but from here, most of us has already choose the RFID method, which was Clifford's method, as you can see the right. Okay, so that will be brought into the final ideation. So a lot of voting from worksheet 1 until worksheet 2, we have come up with our final product, which is the RFID system suggested by our colleague, which is Clifford. Okay, by this system we can kill two birds with one stone, where it will ration up things like students going to class without taking out their phone and scanning the MySejahtera code, okay, which is implemented in campus only, not outside. And also it will be easier for lecturers to retrieve the attendance of the students, so they do not need to waste time 15 to 10 minutes on calling out students' name. This is a very easy process, and it will be described by my colleague Rais after this for the prototype description.
Our prototype, we have decided to make RFID system scanner. Why are we doing this thing? Because it can help avoid congestion at MySejahtera check-in checkpoint. Besides that, this system also is a touchless system, so we don't have to touch anything. We just walk by and it will automatically detect our data. So who are going to monitor this system? Well, we can ask the health and safety department at our IPT to monitor this system. To help you guys understand better, let me show you a floor map that I have created. So this is the floor map. As you can see here, this is the entrance and exit door. Beside the entrance and exit door, there is a wall plug or the room plug where usually the light and the fan switches are located at. So beside of this thing, I have placed the RFID receiver. Why I place it here? So the RFID receiver can share the electric source with the wall plug. And also I located it here because usually students will walk past this area before going to their sitting area. So the RFID receiver can scan all the students that came into the classes. Also, this RFID receiver will have a cover, because if we let it open like this only, it will continuously scanning students that walk near it. So when we close it, it won't scan it. So the lecturer can open the cases when the students are going into the class. Once all the students have came in, the lecturer can close it, so there will be no redundant in the database. So to understand better on how the process is going to be, here I have made a flowchart. So first, student come into the class, then lecturer open the RFID receiver cover to start scanning the RFID sticker, which is located at the behind of our metric cards. Then the RFID receiver detect the RFID sticker at the student metric cards. Then the data that have been received from this metric card will be saved into a database. And also, a lecturer can use this system to take the attendance of their student without having to call out their name one by one during the class or passing by a attendance paper. This can save time and also the environment without having to print the paper attendance anymore. Once all the students have been fully scanned by the RFID system, the student can proceed to their sitting place and start their learning like normally. So this is the prototype which I have created. This thing represents the RFID scanner, and this is the cases. This is the RFID. So let's say I place it here. So and there's a student coming in. Whenever he walks past, the RFID will detect the metric card because it has the RFID sticker at the back of it. So it will save it into a database. So in case there is a virus spread out at that place, the health department can just check the log and see who came into the room and can quarantine them safely without having to worry who and who might not visit it because they already have the database. Okay, so for the costing, the RFID transmitter will cost about 5 ringgit at each location, and the RFID strip tag is about 2 ringgit. It's not that expensive, and plus 5 ringgit at each location, and our poly have just around 100 rooms, so we cost like 500 ringgit. We can get the fund from the financial department. Plus, this thing also can help the lecturer to take the student attendance.
Greetings everyone, my name is Clifford Anthony Miranda, and I'm going to move on to sharing with you the testing part of our design thinking process. As you can see from the feedback grid, this is how we put our prototype to the test. We were very grateful to have Group 23 with us to help us with this process as to giving feedback as users. From the first part of the grid, you would see at what worked in our product. We have written down that the product generally worked because from the feedback questions that we got from Group 23 didn't bring up any issues within our product. For example, in the aspect of costing, which is our product is very low cost to implement, and it's because it is made from reusable materials, it doesn't cost that much. And also on who will be handling the system and monitoring the system, it is put in the hands of the Health and Safety Department of the Polytechnic Institution. And also about what type of data the RFID system will collect. And we had highlighted to them that the data that the RFID system would be collecting would be just the basic information, and it won't be a breach of privacy. It would be information that is already in your MySejahtera, such as your IC number, your full name, and probably some information on the dates of your vaccine doses. So moving on, we can see on what could be improved. This was a very important part as we found out that we could probably place the receiver or transmitter of the RFID device in the classroom instead of at the door, so that if any other student or any other staff that would be passing by that classroom, it would not pick up and detect and cause an error as if that person had entered that classroom. So those were one of the improvements in our prototype. Some of the new ideas that we could include in our prototype after we went through the testing session was that we can use Microsoft Excel to keep the data by connecting the master computer to the internet. This process can be achieved by doing some coding to connect the RFID system receiver data with Excel.